So once we've threaded our keeper bead on, what we're going to do is we're going to start at the tip of the earring, and we're going to pick up 3 of your twin beads, like so, and thread them on. And then if you look at them lying flat, you can imagine what you want to do is flip the centre one out, so that one's sitting at the tip, and then you're going to double your thread. It's going to go along the side of the bead on the end of the row, like so, and then you're going to add in gold bead, skip over the bead that is facing in the opposite direction, it should be, and through the second hole of the bead on the end of the row, like so. So they sit in a small diamond shape like that. And then we're going to add on one more bead onto the end of that row. That sits on the end, and then, like we did before, you're going to pass back through the second hole of that bead, like this. And to keep it up nice and tight, then add another gold bead, pass through the second hole of the bead from the previous row, so through the second hole, add on another gold bead, like so. And then we need to add the silver bead from the row before. So this one is, so instead of sitting in this direction, we want this bead to sit in this direction. And then we're going to pass back through the second hole, because it's a bead on the end of a row, and then along all the way through the row we've already passed along. So this will be reinforcing your work as you're going, as well as helping you reposition your needle. So along like that, and then again back all the way through the beads you've just done. So you re-emerge back through the same hole, add another silver bead onto the end, like so, and again it's the end of your row, so you're doubling back on yourself. And adding one more gold one for the next row. Then we reached our central bead, so we're using a bead of a different colour there. Passing that through. And then we want another gold one in the end. And then the same as before, we need to add the bead in from the previous row. So add your bead on, flip it round so it's heading back in the opposite direction, and then reinforce. Pass your needle back through the row you've already been along, like so. Try and keep your work as tight as you can so you can see where the pattern's forming. Then again, pass your needle back along, like so. And this time we're going to jump between two beads rather than our thread running along the side of a bead. So this is the only time that you're not going to pass your bead through the second hole of this bead that you're adding. You're in fact going to pass it through the gold bead next to it, like so. It'll stick out a little bit for now, but it'll flatten out when we get back to it next time. Then we're adding our gold. And another gold bead. And we're adding on silver bead on the edge. As you can see, we're going back to, still passing back round the end, like we're doing on all the other rows. And then we're now starting to work our pattern back down the other side of the diamonds. So we're working it in a white bead, adding on our final gold one there. And another silver one on the end. Now, because we're decreasing our rows, ideally you need to be positioned over here, but if you just pass your needle straight through, we'd have a loop of thread across, which is what we don't want. So we're going to have to, again, double back through the holes we've already been along, just so we can reposition our needle. If it'll behave itself and go through. Make sure you're going through all the holes, not actually skipping one and making a loop. There we go, pull it nice and tight. And then this one, we're going to pass through, again to reinforce. But instead of going all the way out to the end of the row like this, we're actually going to stop one bead before the end. So make sure your needle comes out of the end of this final row and pass your needle round through to the second hole of this bead. Again, add on your next silver one, like so. And then your other one in the row. And again, same thing as before. Pass back through the previous row of beading, but not all the way. Stopping one bead before the end. Pull that tight. And again. Because your beading's symmetrical, you can always flip it over and work from right, always continue working from right from left if that's easier. So you can see I'm turning it round as I'm working. Flip it over, and again come out to that side. Just again stopping one bead before the end. And putting your final bead onto the tip. Pick it up. Pass it through, and then again we're just going to reinforce the last couple of rows that we've put through there, just to keep that end bead in place. So go through and back through again, like so, and then you just need to tie your thread off. So pass through, 2 beads there, so you're coming out in the centre of your work. It's a bit tough if you're keeping your beading nice and snug. Then you want to tie a knot around the beaded loop that you've made there. That's not a beaded loop, just tying your knots around the threads that pass between the beads. Like that. Bring it up. Quite a short piece of thread here. If you okay, and then tie a knot like so. And then simply pass your needle through to hide your thread end within your work. Like so. And then you can remove your needle and trim your thread end. Then simply move your keeper bead and do the same thing at the other end. So simply removing your keeper bead, just untying the knot, take that off out of the way. Pop your needle back on the end. So once you've removed your keeper bead, all you need to do is just finish the second thread end off, thread your needle, and what we're going to do is we're just going to reinforce the first bead, because you can see it's still a bit loose, the first bead we actually put on there. So you want to go through the second row of beading there, get it to go through. Seeing as I'm right-handed, I should actually try it from the right. It might be a bit easier. So we're just going to reinforce those beads at the end there, like so. And again, pass your needle into the centre and tie your knot on either side of where that thread passes through. So double through, tie knot, tie it round, then carry your thread breadth across. It can be quite tricky this bit, because if you've got your beads sitting nice and snugly together, there isn't a lot of room. You might end up with a slight bend in your needle in the process. So there you go, just pull the thread end out to the side, take your needle off, and trim the end. So there you have your little diamond. So now all we need to do is make it into an earring. So all we need is to add a 5mm jump ring. So what you're going to do is take hold of your jump ring and where the opening is, twist it open, a bit more than that, and then just slot it through the top hole in your twin bead that hasn't got any thread in it, like so. Give it a little bit of a wiggle so we can get it through. And then ever so gently just close your jump ring back up, so it's going to loop like so, and then just open the loop on the bottom of your ear wire, slide it on and close it back up like so, and there you have your earring. So all you need to do now is just make another one to match, and then you'll have your matching pair.